good, y'all? Kid Jerome here. I'm reviewing a different album from 1000 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die every day, and today's album is Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Fetch the Bolt Cutters, released April 2020, is the fifth studio album by New York singer-songwriter Fiona Apple. I've listened to this album many times before. I listened to it shortly after it came out. It received very high critical acclaim. Lots of people talked about it at the time, and I believe for what it sets out to accomplish, it's very masterful, very complete. It's a very impressive album and one that I keep returning to over and over and over. What really sets this album apart is how it was recorded and the environment in which it lives. Most of it was recorded at home by Fiona Apple almost entirely alone. A lot of it was produced on GarageBand, a program with which Fiona had very limited experience, and she cites this as a reason as to why some of her songs come out sounding a little bit more unpolished. You can hear dogs barking on several tracks. We hear them at the end of Bolt Cutters and the beginning of Newspaper. Fiona's vocals are very lo-fi and unprocessed most of the time. You can hear sort of the hiss of the environment around her on a lot of the tracks, especially when the instrumentals around the vocals get a little bit quieter, like in the chorus of Shamika or the outro of Relay. Her vocals follow a similar unpolished pattern. I remember reading in an interview around the time this album came out that Fiona said she quit trying to sing well and was more focused on giving the song what it needs. I feel like this is a very strong mentality and creates very wonderful music that's less focused on pretentious suppositions like I need to impress the listener or I need to really show off, and more so I need to give the song what it needs. I need to make the best song possible right now. And I feel like that approach, that work ethic really shines through in this album. We have very risky vocal techniques such as these dolphin noises at the end of the intro track. We have this barking and I know on Rack of his where her voice really cracks and you hear her fry come out a little bit, those harsh back vocals. We have another voice cracking but a more delicate one when she says fruit bat during Ladies. Very emotional stuff, honestly. It's very vulnerable of her to sing in this imperfect way, and it lends itself to more emotional textures in each song. You really feel her pain when her voice cracks. You really feel her sense of longing when she stretches out a word like you for several bars. At other times, her vocals are strong and brimming with emotion. They're confident, like in Kick Me Under the Table, this defiant song about saying what you meant to say despite what someone else might think about it. You have this heavy, heavy chorus during Balloon. Very, very emotional stuff and very emotional delivery. Fiona absolutely knew how to approach these subjects. While these instrumentals do have more of a simple at-home feel, the performance is absolutely incredible. Her piano playing is delicate, floaty, but always confident. She always knows exactly what she's trying to say with her instrument playing. The drums are reverberant, big, boomy. You can hear the space she recorded in on a lot of these tracks, and she is absolutely phenomenal on them. She keeps up her own rhythm section with convincing ease, and it absolutely pairs well with these loud, anthemic, emotional lyrics. The lyrics are perhaps the most important part of this album. She absolutely had a message she was trying to convey. She had a lot on her mind, a lot on her plate, a lot that she had to convey to the public. We have very dense, emotional, impactful passages, such as on the opening track, she says, "And I know none of this will matter in the long run, but I know a sound is still a sound around no one." We have the heartbreaking Good Morning section on For Her. There's just really, really heavy subject material on this album, and it comes from a life well lived, a life full of experience, and for her to be able to convey everything she's gone through in this absolutely phenomenal piece of art is the goal of every artist, honestly. To convey so many feelings with so few words is the mark of a true professional. There are recurring themes of loss, such as on Newspaper, a song largely about Fiona's ex's new lover. It gets very introspective on this new relationship in that She says she wonders what he has told her about Fiona. Wonders what lies she spread. Wonders why the new wife won't even bother talking to her. It's very mature subject matter. Not a lot of younger listeners are going to have ex-wives or husbands, or really have these relationships that were built up so long over so many years, that were so real and adult and intense. And not many younger listeners are going to be able to understand how Fiona feels about an ex-husband or her ex-husband's new lover. These are subject matters that you only can speak on if you've really been through it, if you've done your time. Drum Set is more of a traditional looking back song where she examines her failed relationship, tries to figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong. She literally says, why did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away? Breakups can be intense. Failed relationships can be very emotionally taxing. And I'm sure that on some level we've all experienced, why did you do this? What went wrong? What happened? And for her to say it over and over in such an emotionally compelling way, it really strikes at the core. On the other side, there's also recurring themes of liberation. This seems to be more or less the main theme of the album, her liberation, her fetching the bolt cutters. On Relay, she repeats the opening line 6 times, really communicating, hey, this is important. This needs to be understood. And immediately after repeating the opening line 6 times, she launches into this powerful "I resent you" verse. It feels like she's really getting something off her chest with this track. On Under the Table, she's sticking up for her beliefs in the face of adversity. She's saying, kick me under the table all you want. I won't shut up. Saying, this is how I feel. This is who I am. You must accept it. And I'm doing all of this despite what you may think, how you may feel about it. The dynamics on this album are wonderful. There's these extremely attention-grabbing moments, such as on the chorus of Shamika, where the instrumental takes a backseat. Everything else really cuts out, and her vocals come through the mix, and they're impossible to ignore. Up until this point, the song had been very busy and frantic and floaty, and you have these arpeggiated piano lines that are really going all over the place. They don't seem to resolve at all, and then her lyrics just come through, and there's nothing. It's impossible to ignore. We have the elongated "you" in the opening song, and when I say elongated, I mean for like 12 seconds. She's saying "you," and if that doesn't grab your attention, I'm really not sure what will. The intro to Under the Table is a cappella. The intro to Under the Table is strong, it's driven, and most importantly, it's a cappella. You have this powerful, emotional voice as the first thing you hear, as an introduction to the song, before being joined by some powerful anthemic drums, before she really picks up energy in her vocal delivery. It grabs your attention from the very first moment, and it takes you on a journey. The peak of the album for me was Cosmonauts. It's this emotional, heavy, very loud song that really lives in the chorus. The verses serve to tell a story, but they ultimately are just a bridge to this loud, exciting chorus where she says, started, and it's honestly just very emotionally intense stuff. One of the most dense songs of 2020. It's absolutely masterful. My favorite Fiona Apple song of all time. This was an incredible moment for me. Absolutely transcendent during the chorus. All in all, Fetch the Bolt Cutters is an emotionally dense masterpiece. Fiona had a message she wanted to relay and did so with unwavering confidence. And this is a strong, inspiring example of what we're capable of on our own as artists and as people. This album sticks with you long after it's over. Some standout tracks were I Want You to Love Me, Shamika, and Cosmonauts, especially Cosmonauts. I would recommend this album to singer-songwriters, women coping with loss, and poets, writers, people who are focused on lyrical delivery. There's some very intense and strong lyrics on this album, and like I said earlier, they beg for further examination. I give this album an easy 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about the album in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoy what I had to say. It really helps me out. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video, and I will see you soon. Never stop listening. Peace.